We're chatting Josh and I's favorite places to stay in Walt Disney World, plus some cast compliments. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
All right, it's time once again for another episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle, as always. And you can grab yourself this Cheers Walt t-shirt on the website now. Who doesn't want to sport one of these shirts featuring their favorite drunkle, Walt Disney? Get yours at Theme Park Chuckle.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I got that shirt, actually. It just came the other day. I love it.
I don't know why I am the way I am. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I am his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. You can find us on all social media platforms at BBT Magic Podcast. That's Instagram, that's TikTok, and we have a Facebook if anybody still uses that. And of course, this podcast is on both YouTube and Spotify.
And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be alerted when we have new videos up on there.
Yeah.
So make sure you do that. Yeah, fun stuff. Sorry, I'm all out of sorts right now.
It's the tank top. It's throwing you off today.
I was sweating. It was 3,000 degrees today.
I think what you're trying to say
I'm Vinny. I'm a cousin. I'm on your podcast. Come on. All right, I got my cross necklace on. Come on.
I think you're trying to say this show is rated TV 14.
Why not?
I'm loving this episode.
Congratulations, TV 14. Make sure if you're a younger viewer, you have your parents' permission before watching, and we do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes. We're a little rusty, Josh. We took off. We did 2 episodes in 1 week.
I might die. I might die on this podcast. It was 160. Hold on, let me check to make sure if that's. No, it was 161 degrees today. And I was sweating so profusely that I feel like I may be on the verge of a stroke, and I hope that doesn't happen live. But hey, we'll record it. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it.
I hope it doesn't happen either, because I have no idea how to work any of this equipment. So I'll be like, bring back the magic.
I'm glad that's where all the concern lied. Oh, Josh has a stroke. Gina's like, how will we fill the episode? I need to find a new That was your first thought? I need to find a new
I feel like
co-star.
that's what you would have wanted. And they say when something happens to someone, do what you think they would have wanted. And you would have wanted the show to go on and end cleanly.
I'm glad you have your island version of Josh right now.
Yes.
Slightly tanned and sunstroke.
I look tanner. You can tell we just came back from Florida and the sun is hitting. I think I look tanner.
Yeah.
Josh, I want to tell you something that you may not realize. So we are recording this podcast on a Tuesday evening, but it will air on Thursday. And do you know what this Thursday's date is? 6/2/6.
It's Stitch Day. Oh, should have never told me that. Your whole day is going to be ruined when I get a hold of you.
I am fully expecting our social media to blow up of people bombarding me with
I'll be
Stitch.
disappointed if it doesn't.
I know, but I do want to give a little shout out for those watching on YouTube to my new little addition to the studio of my stuffy Stitch that's wearing the I'm celebrating Gina button. Thank you, Robin Teresa, please. I had to put it somewhere where it would be shown off well.
I love it.
So thank you.
It's all
guys.
part of the magic of Disney podcasting.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. So we just got back from our little 3-day trip to Walt Disney World. We had a blast. I'll tell you what. Yeah. It was stressful. It was stressful because we switched rooms every single night.
Yeah, which I would not recommend.
Yeah, I would never do it again. Mm-mm. It was fun for this trip.
Yeah.
And I say fun because I don't want to down my trip.
Right.
I just say it was fun.
It's time consuming.
It is.
Really
it takes
time
a lot.
Even if Disney transferred everything, it's time consuming.
I mean, if you want to be smelly and not care about like packing stuff and you're wearing kind of the same clothes, you could probably do this easier and just throw a backpack
through Walt
Disney
World.
Backpack through Walt Disney World. Yeah. You get plenty of space because people won't come around you. You have a little fume sticking off you because you're smelly. But yeah, I would do it differently. I would definitely and we'll get into this later, the rooms we stayed in, but absolute great time. A lot of great things happened on this trip. We got to go to GO82. After going to GO82, we got to meet Rob and Teresa from More Disney.
More Disney, please.
Please.
PLZ.
Please. With the Z, 'cause they're from the streets. Don't mess with the Z's.
Love them. Love them.
If I have a Z, it's because I have a disease. If I put a Z in my name. So, I don't know
Jaws.
what I'm saying. I say things.
It's Jaws.
Remember when you used to write things when you were a kid, like, was here, and you're like, oh, I'm cool.
I feel like kids still do that now. I feel like they do. But
I feel like kids don't know how to write anymore. They'll like chat GPT it or something.
Yeah.
Write this on a wall. Okay, I'm going to send it to somebody. Anyway.
Fun trip, though. Fun trip. We will definitely get into more details, like you said, with our show topic, which is about favorite places to stay. But spoiler alert, like Josh said, we would not recommend the nightly hop. It's just opening your bag each time, closing it up, getting everything back together, especially as a female that has, things that they need to use. It just took a lot of time out of our day that we would. But if we hadn't been going for a content specific trip, I think it would have bothered us. But because we went knowing this was like kind of a mission we were on, then I think it was fine.
I think that's valid.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we had a car, we had someone with a car that made it a little bit easier too.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's things I liked about the trip, and there was minimal things I didn't like.
Right, yeah.
And that's experiential kind of stuff like that. Yeah. We had our feelings about some items we might have tried, mainly at Geo82 when you and Stephanie hated the one drink there.
Oh, it's gross.
It's amazing because that drink actually got higher reviews somewhere else. You know what? Those people are lying.
All
Whoever
I
gives
can
it.
think though is because I do like to give things a second chance. So
what was the drink?
It was the strawberry black pepper sour from Geo82 that was recently rated by some other people as like a 9 out of 10. And Stephanie and I, if any of you check out the bonus content on Spotify that we do, remember, Spotify's free, people. So if you are watching us on YouTube, we love having you. But there is some extra stuff that's Spotify only. So go check it out. It won't cost you a dime. But we talked about how mainly the 4 out of 10 I gave it, 3 of it was because the glass was pretty. So I did not care for that. But there's also a chance, this is a new place, somebody just made it wrong. Because I, as somebody who likes to try different cocktails, can't fathom that people loved it to the level of a 9 out of 10 based on our experience.
It was disappointing.
Yeah, so I'd give it another try if somebody else ordered it. I wouldn't order it myself.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so we had some, like I said, we had some great experiences there.
Yeah,
Rob and Teresa are great. We got to hang out and talk to them and,
Yeah.
Have some talk around the Poop and Walt statue in Epcot, which they did make a video on there, a dancing to conga, ironically, because we always say Gina loves conga on Cosmic Rewind. Of course, I lie. And I got up and danced in this AI video with my one arm.
I like how Walt slips at the end. It's like he looks like he's falling down.
I like that.
Rob
So it's like, let's make it real. But it's weird because I got like one nub arm. I was like...
Those AI things are so funny. I'm sorry, but they will always entertain me. Sorry.
Video cost an arm and a leg, or maybe just an arm. It was Josh's. Nobody cares about him. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so
that was fun. Good times. Again, glad we did it. Experiences, totally worth it.
Yeah.
We go into it on detail, not like this is just shameless self-promotion for our Spotify channel, but I guess it is that we go into that in detail because we do a recap nightly while we're gone. So those I always feel like are very fun. If you haven't checked them out, also follow us because I think I've noticed on Spotify, I listen to podcasts and I often forget to like click the follow because I tend to like go in and find what I want and it shows up in my search. Like remember to follow us on there so you get those notifications when something new drops. Yeah. All right. Enough shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Or is it ever? Is it ever?
Should we move on to our hot takes?
Sure.
Ooh, it just got warm in here.
Yeah.
It got warm in the hot takes. We're goobers.
Right. Also, poor Spotify people. This is why we have to give you
this one's out of control. When does it end? Okay, good. It's out. We got a rager.
This is why we have to give Spotify people the bonus content because they missed out on all the
By the way, there was a really cool fire graphic for those of you listening.
They missed out on all the visual gags that come with our YouTube channel. So a little something for each of you, I guess. The visual gags on YouTube and the bonus
As if Josh wasn't sweating enough today, we had to add fire. I'm going to go for my hot take of the week. Okay.
Sure.
And this has to do with high-end things in Walt Disney World. Are they good, or do people say they're good because they think they're supposed to?
Or because they want a table.
My hot take is there's places that people go to that'll say they're good because they feel like they're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Victoria and Albert's aside, because that's always great. And if you say it's bad, then you're ridiculous and you don't need anything. But I will say the cake bake shop. There is elements to it, but I don't think that's what it was whatever it was billed to be when it came out, it should have been this upscale. They're charging a fortune for it. There's a lot of things I'm let down with that restaurant in particular. Like service wasn't that great that I had, and then my meal was not good. I didn't think the desserts were up to par. Their smaller desserts are better, but their
It
cakes
sounds like
and all,
consistency is an issue for them, because whenever I see a post about them, I always go to the comments to see, because I haven't been yet. My plan is to go in November when we're back there. But I see a 50-50 split of people that really hated it, really hated it for the money.
The price
and then
factors in.
But some people that absolutely loved it. So I can't think that everyone, I do get your point that everyone is just saying it because I think there are people getting a great experience or they wouldn't go back and spend their money. But I do think that there's an inconsistency happening
I think what happens is you set a bar. Okay, and the bar is pretty low on this one, I'd say, on this, but the price really elevates that. Like, it's like when you demand a certain price. I mean, when you have a drink that you can buy, like in a Swan for like $75 or something like that, I'm like, you have an upcharge of something for a cup or whatever it is, I don't know. I don't even want to, I'm going to be wrong, whatever I say, but let's just say it's $75. That's weird. Like I said, it's too much. It's an indulgence. I'm like, I'm excited. I'll go back because I said they have a tea service you were talking about doing. And I'll probably go do it again. I'll have dinner there again because my thing is it's fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, but it's usually just fool me twice. I'm like, fool me twice and I probably won't come back in.
I think that's fair. It's like if you have 2 consistently bad experiences, at the very least, you should wait a while to go back.
I've had bad experiences at restaurants that I love. Yeah. So I don't immediately hold everybody to the coals and say, look, this is not going to be great.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's your hot take?
My hot take, and I don't really think it's hot from our listeners' standpoint. I think it's going to be a hot take from Disney's standpoint. I feel like annual pass holders get treated worse than people who just buy tickets for the trip.
Gen Pop?
Yeah, I feel like they get the shaft. The fact that there's so many more limitations and they're like, oh, well, because we got to gauge the crowd. So you're telling me by the money I'm dropping and telling you I like your place enough, I'm going to come frequently. And every visit is money, even if I've already paid off the annual pass. Every time I'm in there, I feel like it's very rare someone's going to walk into the Magic Kingdom. Unless you're a local and live there, maybe you can walk in and out of the park without spending an extra dime. But most people who are there on vacation are going to spend money on something, whether it's merch, whether it's food, drink, snack, whatever. They're going to spend the money. So I have committed to you that I plan on coming at least enough time to justify an annual pass. And you throw me some freaking magnets. And you're like, we appreciate you.
Do you remember when they were doing stuff like
glasses and cutting boards?
Yeah, they did that. I think I have coasters somewhere from like one of the food and wines and everything. But they used to do some things.
And I don't even care about the gifts. I care about the fact.
I still like my magnet though.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, they're fine. But and they're easy to mail when they have to mail them out to you. So at least that's nice. But I just feel like it doesn't feel, and sometimes we feel that way about DVC too. Like the DVC lounges are nice, but I do feel like they really, remember for the longest time, they weren't selling annual passes. It's almost like they don't want you to buy one. And that just boggles my mind. Like because if I can't make it justify the money to come 2 times, then and pay individually, because that one day pass that gets you, it's paying the one day again is the one that's the bulk of the money. I just feel like there should be a better experience. And I actually saw a TikTok last night and someone was saying, the girl was like, why do I have an annual pass to Universal and not to Disney? And she just put up a screen of the difference in price between the two.
Well, the difference in price and there's certain blockout dates. Like Disney blocks out like obviously the holiday stuff like that, but it's mainly just December. It's like a few different dates and it's Christmas to New Year's.
Christmas and New Year's, yeah. And I think Thanksgiving now too.
But I don't feel like you should be penalized for being an annual pass member.
Yeah, why? It's like
locals
the reverse loyalty program. It's like here's reverse loyalty.
If you want to do so, listen. If you want to have the blackout dates, I really do get, and I'm sorry to the locals and everything else because I hope to be one at some point. But if you're going to do a blackout date, do it for the locals. Yeah. Do it for just for the Christmas time or whatever it is for locals and say, listen, if you want to buy a park ticket that day or blah, blah, you can do that. But that's fine. And I'm like, you wouldn't catch me on Christmas Day in the parks anyway because it's most crowded.
No,
I'm not a big crowd
I like to
person.
be home for Christmas anyway.
I like the temperature that time of year because it's a lot cooler and it's I'm not like today when I was sweating and almost dead. But I would say for that, but people are out of town. and they have annual passes, why block? They're going to try to come to Disney. Again, you're limiting money. Like, whoever's in the park at capacity, they're still spending money regardless. So,
yeah. So that's
anyway.
just my take on it.
Okay.
Like I said, not a hot take. I don't think most annual pass holders that are listening are going to say, ooh, hot take, I disagree. I think the Disney would be like, what do you mean? We gave you a magnet, you know? And I just think it's disappointing, the annual pass lack of loyalty
It's a disappointment.
It is. We always say that. A disappointment.
It's a disappointment.
A disappointment.
Now, let's go into our main topic for this show, which is our favorite places to stay, okay, in Walt Disney World. This is not just a broad topic of anywhere we go when we want to go. And spoiler alert, we basically go nowhere else but Disney. So I'm like, it's funny. I'm like, hey, we're on vacation, Disney or Disney?
There's other places. Sometimes we
Places
go to
you
Disneyland.
can go. Southwest flies other places. Yeah, it's
Sometimes we
Mexico,
go
but
to
you can't
Disneyland.
drink. You can't drink the water. Anyway, so on our trip we just got back from, we did 3 different rooms, 3 different nights, and at 2 different hotels. Okay.
Spoiler alert: we did not pay cash for these rooms.
No,
We
and this
do not have
and this
that
is
kind
the
of
disclaimer. We used the DVC points. This was a splurge for us. Each of these rooms, I will tell you right now, was probably averaging about 100 DVC points a night, which is astronomical. But we wanted to do this one time, and it was for you guys to kind of tell you a little experience back and forth. I did take some videos. We'll see how they turned out. They're probably crap, but it doesn't matter.
They may end up being a TikTok, and that's fine.
It might be like, hey, remember this drawer I filmed because the camera was whatever? I don't know. This technical stuff I'm kind of on. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I have that Pocket 3 cam and I'm going around and half time it's filming my foot. And I'm like, what is this gimbal? I'm not nimble with the gimbal, if you know what I mean. So quote me. But 3 different rooms. 2 of them were at Polynesian. The first night we got there, we stayed at the Island Tower, the new tower, the Howard Johnson.
Right.
From the outside.
Yeah.
It actually is very beautiful. You go into there and
It's prettier from the view when you're there than from the outside view. Like, I think the view, if you're at the Grand Floridian, like when I was at the Grand and my room faced it in September, I was like, ugh, because it just doesn't seem like it matches anything around it. I do get when you see it from like the view you're supposed to see it from, it does look like a hotel in Hawaii. You know, it does give that vibe, but it just doesn't kind of vibe with the Grand Floridian or the old school Polynesian.
I like the lobby area.
It's beautiful inside.
When you go in there, it's a lot of textural stuff. You know, you got like
beautiful.
that Tamatoa little like mural on the one wall. It's like kind of like tiley kind of look to it, iridescent maybe. That's cool. You got the different pillars. You got
kind of tiley.
It's tiley. You know, I have great descriptors. Anyway, so that's a fake laugh.
It's real.
It's real. Then you got the pillars that are like elements: earth, wind, water, fire. And then you have those weird little dinglings that hanging from the ceiling. They're like moss-covered dinglings from the ceiling. But it's a neat thing. And then the outside view off of that is gorgeous. Yeah. So we ended up staying in a 2-bedroom penthouse in the Island Tower. And I will be honest, if you were just entertaining somebody for a function or something like that and had a little party kind of thing up there, probably good for that. I probably wouldn't enjoy staying in that room for like a week if I had to. I think it's one of the only, and again, we're very privileged to be able to do it. I'm appreciative of being able to do it. It was nice to be able to see it, and the fireworks view, gorgeous. But I feel like that it felt a little cold to me, and the kitchen was kind of disjointed. The kitchen table.
What kitchen?
It wasn't. It was kind of like you had like a studio version of a kitchen.
You guys can't see my desk at the studio right now, but it is about the length of like my arm span, and the kitchen was about the same, which sounds like a decent size, except that included the width of the refrigerator, the sink, and the stovetop. So if you wanted to have, and you have this large room to be able to have people, there's no prep space. There's no island. There's no peninsula. It's literally like this much room if you had to do anything. And I know people are thinking, you're in Disney, you don't need a full kitchen. But if you're somebody that's looking for a room that size, chances are you picked a place with a kitchen because you may, even if you're just making breakfast in the morning, there's really no counter space. It's a very weird design of the kitchen. Like, check it out when we post our video. Save it for that.
And the reason we're saying this about this, not just to recap our trip, is because Polynesian is one of our favorite places to stay. Okay, Gina and I both kind of feel the same way about the Poly. I love that resort kind of feel, like that Hawaiian-esque kind of thing when you walk in the lobby. It's a vibe.
I always say it's like 2 vacations in one. You
I'm
feel
split
like
on things when you're outside because you get that at other resorts too when you have to walk to your room. Sometimes when it's bad weather, it kind of like inhibits you to get stuff, the bus stop stuff and the access. But at this particular one, we stayed in the Island Tower. It was fine. I liked it. The fireworks view was gorgeous. After that night, we ended up staying in a bungalow. Those of you who've not listened to our Spotify bonus content, go on there and listen to BBTM PM, the second edition of that.
Because for this episode, Josh and I decided, because we've done the recaps on Spotify, and again, we're not trying to push our YouTube viewers over to another apps. Totally. No, but we're not trying to do that. It's just that we have kind of like captured also those that are listening to this again on Spotify, it would be doubling up.
Yeah.
So go check it out because this episode is more about where we do like staying and not necessarily just a review of the places we've already reviewed. So sorry about that, but it does factor in a little. So that's why we're talking about.
Go on to that, listen to the BBTM, the second one. I think it's the second installment right there. It has a little flower layer on little logo.
BBTM PM.
So if you go on that, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say we stayed in a bungalow. Spoiler alert, bungalows are not my favorite. I'm like, it's great to be able to do it. Neither both those. It's funny, the 2 poly places that we stayed are ones that I wouldn't necessarily jump back to.
Which is so funny because it hasn't changed the fact that the poly is in my top 3.
Yeah.
But
I like the BBC Studios.
I mean, guys, this is mind-blowing for me to say. And I hope you all understand this is kind of funny. It's we are being the exact opposite of what Josh's hot take was of people just saying something's great just to say it's great. Here we are taking like bucket list rooms and saying, not our vibe. Now, that doesn't mean that if you book those, you are not going to be like, wow, we are not that like jaded.
Oh, trust me. I put all the points we had left like into that.
Right.
I was
we
like,
are not jaded like that. We are
allotment.
not like uber bougie people. Like, honestly, I'm telling you that there are some lesser rooms that I've actually enjoyed staying in better because when you're putting in like what you're spending points wise, like for us, that amount for just a night, that's a lot. Like Josh talks about it in the bonus content, but it's like, that's some people's allotment for like their whole year and you're spending it on one night. For us, it just wasn't a place, either of them, that we would jump back to stay. So again, not dismissing or saying these places aren't stunning. They're somebody's vibe. They just weren't for me. And bungalow was on my bucket list. I was like, wow, I really want to stay there. But for me,
well, now,
it's not a
now you have.
Yeah, I have. And
very spoiler
grateful.
alert, when you listen to the thing on it, we got a handy capable room, it's a little bit of a different
But that
experience.
wasn't why for me.
And
it
was like, there was other things that contribute to it. And I'd stayed there before for a few days back when. Okay. So we've got that out. The next night we had stayed, and the reason I'm saying this again is because the Grand Floridian was the last one. This is probably our favorite room we've ever stayed at. It was a 3-bedroom Grand Villa at Think. There's no way I could ever afford to stay here more than probably a night. But it was absolutely gorgeous. First of all, you go in there, it's got everything. It's got a little screening room. It's got it's got this large table. It's got decks off the side. You have a gorgeous view of Magic Kingdom. It was bananas, like absolutely bananas. I loved it.
I will say, though, we talked about this before we went on air about how to try and talk and compare things. I liken that 3, which you could really call it a 4-bedroom at the Grand Floridian because it has that media room that has a pull-out sofa in it. So it's completely contained. There's 4 bathrooms, four full bathrooms. So you really could call it a 4-bedroom place. That is like the Victorian Alberts of places to stay in Walt Disney World.
It's like the Victorian Alberts of Grand Floridian.
Right. You can't compare it to
Go in
other
there and
things.
tell them that.
But I can compare the bungalow or the penthouse to other things. So we can't even really compare that place to anything else. But even points wise, it's crazy to think how close in points it is to those other 2 places.
Oh no, it is. It's not far off at all.
Which is
and
insane
there's times
to me.
a year when it's less. Excuse me.
That's
less,
what blows my mind. I'm like, what? I feel like this should be twice as many points a night as either of those other 2 places. And it's not. So, I mean, bang for your points, especially if you can pool with somebody because there's a lot of rooms, close to 4 bedrooms essentially, plus pull-outs in the regular family room.
So now that we recapped kind of the places we stayed, I know we didn't, but there's more in-depth stuff we talk about on the Spotify bonus content, so we won't bore you with it in this. But we're talking about our favorite places to stay. I have categories of my favorite places to stay.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of trip I'm taking. If I'm taking a trip where it's goal oriented. Like I'm going, let's say I want to go to Magic Kingdom and do a bunch of stuff at Magic Kingdom. I'd love to be on the monorail route. That's one type of trip. If you're just like, it's a chill, laid back, let's do whatever, whenever, maybe you're coupling this Disney vacation in with a trip to Universal. Maybe you're doing that stuff, which probably my next one will definitely be. And I think my next one's scheduled currently in November. I have a feeling Gina and I will probably make our way down there somehow before then too. Who knows?
In someone's suitcase.
We don't know. We have no points to stay anywhere.
But we are tapped out. Disney, give us a...
But we'll figure it out.
Disney, is that you? Disney, is that you on the phone?
I don't remember what I was even saying.
Oh, you were saying about if you're doing a chill trip, you were getting ready to say
yeah,
it's a
so the
different
chill
category.
trip.
Look, I listened to you.
Oh my God.
Ding. What sound effect is there for that?
I don't know.
Confetti.
Ding, ding, ding.
Lame. Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go on.
The Simpsons.
That's what that makes me think of every time. Okay, so chill trip, you have a different
chill trip.
I agree.
I would definitely say one of my top things, and if not the top, is actually Old Key West. People are like, "What, really?" Because it was a first DVC resort, the rooms are bigger. A 1-bedroom at Old Key West feels like a palace. I mean, it has got space. I love the way they do the kitchen there. I love that the little TV backs out the ones like off the counter. You sit there, you have like a pull-out couch. You've got a nice king-size bed.
It does give the vibes of a true timeshare. Because, we stayed, remember that time you, me, Peyton, and Mozzie came down before everyone else got down there to Disney, and we stayed at like some timeshare. Yeah. And it was very nice lit up. But it does.
And then they tried to needle you into buying into it. They're like, so you're going to buy? Guess what? Your room just tripled.
Here's a tip real quick about that, guys, just for those who don't know when it comes to timeshares. They were like, oh, sign up and we'll give you this like prepaid credit card. And you're like, okay. And then you say, I'm going to cancel. Can you like not refund my card? They go, oh no, just keep the gift card. So your credit card's getting charged either way. Like that was annoying.
No, they're shifty. That was
annoying. But anyway, that's off topic. But yes, it does give the most like residential vibes. Like you're staying in a timeshare, an Airbnb, something like that. Like more of a home than a hotel room. They really did craft it as a home away from home.
And I like the fact because I drive to Disney. We've talked about that. I drive to Disney. So if I have my truck with me, and I have I can go and drive anywhere on property I want to go. And I'm like, I can just go. I can go to Publix. I can drive out there, grab some groceries. I can go to the liquor store if I want to grab something for like cocktails if I'm in that kind of mood. It depends on the time of year because the last one I said, drinking wasn't the top of my list. Everybody's probably, they're drunks. We drank at like Geo 82, maybe had something with dinner. We really weren't
literally
like one drinks. Like
the one evening podcast we were doing, it was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're laughing hysterically. I was like, we literally haven't had a drink since 4 o'clock.
It was
today.
heat stroke.
It was literally
I might
sleep
start
deprivation.
laughing now. Who knows?
Yeah. So don't ever assume that Josh and I are chemically enhanced because chances are we're just
we're just stupid.
Life.
We're just stupid. Okay, but
right.
What I was saying is like that's a chill trip for me going to Old Key West. I don't like it. Again, if you're here's the deal. You go to Old Key West. I will tell you this: have a car or take an Uber. The bus there is terrible. I mean, it is. I don't even know where the bus stop is half the time. I get lost. I'm like, if I made a left, I'd be there in like a second. I made a right. I'm there in 4 hours. I'm like, okay, here's the bus stop. And then, of course, I get to it. And just in time to see the one that I need to drive away. And I'm like, oh, good. Yeah. And they're like, we'll be back in 25 minutes because this isn't in a 15-minute zone. Yeah. So anyway, but Old Key West is definitely at my top for that. So let's just say in this category, Gina, chill, relaxed trip. Where is your favorite?
That's a tough one. I would say.
Well, you better figure it out.
Believe it or not, I would probably say Boardwalk. Like I feel like Boardwalk's very chill for me.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm changing my answer.
It is our home resort, and because it offers so much in walking distance, it makes me feel very leisurely. Like I don't have to race anywhere. So I'm like, oh, let's take a stroll down the boardwalk. Let's head over to the Swan or Dolphin and do something over there. Let's walk to Hollywood Studios today. Let's walk into Epcot, maybe get breakfast at Leal and something like that. Like it's very chill to me for that reason. Even just hanging out. How much do we love just going down to Abracadabra? Even if you just sit outside at Abracadabra, get some boardwalk food while you have your cocktail from there. I think that's a very chill vibe. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a deluxe resort. So to some people, that's going to feel like a luxury trip, which it is as far as points and money. But for me, the vibe is very chill, I think, there. So that would be my top choice for chill resort.
Okay. Boardwalk. No, I can see that. I like Boardwalk's location is another one I said depends on what your mission is. If I'm going over for food and wine, Boardwalk is going to be my top number one.
Or if mom's
choice.
with us and in a wheelchair, because we can push her so much easier, like straight to Epcot or get her on the boat, and it's not as bus transportation.
I need you to go back. I need you to.
You're going to say, because I said we. I know
we. I wasn't aware somebody was living in my pocket.
I'm sorry. What I meant was, I meant we.
We don't have to do it.
Pushed around. We.
I'm like, I don't remember you pushing anything.
And you won't. I had neck surgery.
And your son walked this trip. You didn't push anybody.
That's right. Although I did find out that I could burn a lot more calories if I put that 8-year-old in a stroller and pushed him around.
Oh my goodness. But we. Yeah, I had somebody living in my pocket. The we.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But,
there's Gina. Gina says we.
Yes. You had help last time.
Anyway, so that's definitely for food and wine. Boardwalk is a number one choice.
And dining is great there. Dining's fantastic. I look forward to whatever they're going to replace the brewery with. Whatever's going to go in where that was. They need a better casual dining spot there.
They do. They need something that can be in and out. Like, okay, Trattoria al Forno is actually a really decent Italian. It's actually probably not Il Molino was standing.
Right.
And the one that's at Swan Reserve, it's Amare. Like, I think that's actually a solid choice. Ones that the meals I've gotten there in the past,
and they still do that character breakfast there.
I believe that was a princess. I thought it was like a princess.
It's Flynn Rider and
Rapunzel
and Ariel and Eric.
Yeah. So I actually like Trattoria al Forno, but I agree with you. They need something that's more like an in and out kind of thing, not like a Pinocchio's Village House kind of thing where you can be like, here's your flatbread pizza, get out. But I feel like they do need something because I feel like that's something that Disney's also lacking on right now is dining choices as they make more and more places. Like we said, they closed down Muppets Courtyard. I'm like, you lost 2 restaurants in there. I'm like, people got to eat, and not everybody wants to say, here's some stale chicken tenders. I'm like, I can only have so much theme park food. I'm actually there because theme parks have actually, I'm not going on a tangent here, I promise, have expanded. I don't like the way you looked at me. So,
I didn't
or
look
them.
at you. I looked
You looked at them. Stop
Exactly.
looking at them.
Let me get on my Grand Floridian phone here and call down.
You need to press 9 to dial out. Anyway, again, I lost what I was saying. I don't know.
It was about dining options, and you said that they're building more places, but they're not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's heat stroke.
They're not great, but I agree because I said the brewery.
But there's holes in places.
I never loved that. We ate at ESPN Zone far more frequently than we ate at that little brewery that they put down there. It was fine.
Okay, my experience at Cake Bake Shop made me miss the ESPN Club even more. Yeah, because if you're a guy, I was going to
say there's not a lot of
There's not a lot of sports bars. You have to go to downtown Disney.
Guy. Like casual vibe places other than Disney Springs.
But that was a crowd pleaser kind of place because it's like, here's some nachos, here's a burger, here's this stuff. That's what we're talking about, that casual dining. Even the Grill Works or whatever they had there, or the brewery, they had some options on it. Yeah. There's just not a simple place. Like,
is there any word out there as far as what, comment below if you know.
I haven't looked.
What they're supposedly going to be putting
I don't buy into things, and I try to get surprised when things actually
I love Flying Fish.
Flying Fish, I will tell you right now, I prefer.
The pizza shop ain't bad either. Just walking up to the pizza window, you got a little bit of a hangover over there. That's a great spot. So
again, we're not drunks, people.
But I'm just saying, like, quick on-the-go pizza, you're walking to the park and your kids haven't had lunch yet, grab a slice on your walk to Epcot or something like that.
Boardwalk, the rooms are nice. It's easy to get around there, especially if you're, like, in a DVC kind of room kind of thing.
I am going to say, though, I do not love the layout of Boardwalk or Beach Club 1-bedroom/2-bedroom villas as much as I love at some other places. Obviously, the Grand Floridian is going to be different, but the layout need not be that much different because I just feel like even the studio at the Poly with its 2 bathrooms and everything is a great layout. I feel like...
And the Bay Lake Tower.
The Boardwalk and Beach Club and Yacht Club, the Boardwalk and Beach Club are the only ones that have the DVC. But those 1-bedroom and 2-bed, they feel tight. Like the living space area feels very tight.
I will tell you this. I think that the Bay Lake Tower 1-bedroom rivals Old Key West.
Yeah.
Like as far as like the size of it. I just don't like, I'll be honest with you. And
2 full bathrooms in a 1-bedroom.
I'm a big sissy because I'm afraid of heights. Okay. Yeah. I don't like it. And then there was somebody that fell off the Bay Lake Tower, and that wasn't that long ago. Rest in peace. I'm sorry not to use you as an example. I mean, you're not going to see this, but bad taste. I'm sorry. I go just things that go through my mind, but you shouldn't say deleted. Okay.
It's
not funny. I have a heat stroke.
I don't even know where we're going.
I don't know
now.
Anyway.
Anyway,
But
the 1-bedroom
I
layout.
was in the middle of saying something.
I was trying to get you back on track.
And I was going towards it.
Okay, sorry.
This is not going to be, I'm going to fight you. You're a dirty pirate hooker. Yeah, so anyhow, I don't like staying up high in the Bay Lake Tower because it gives me vertigo really bad on the balcony.
We felt that way at the
Yeah, I
penthouse.
did. I was like, everybody get away from the edge of the poly. I was like, I've become my father. And in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, and nobody likes it. He's great. Me as him, not so much. But anyway.
I agree with you about
But
the
that's the only thing about that. It's elevated. But
Yeah.
at Old Key West, it's like you're on first or second floor.
Yeah,
Basically.
but I do agree. But what they said, that's my one down part about the boardwalk. As a frequent DVC stayer, again, very grateful for that. I don't love the layout. It's if you've never stayed in one, and maybe it wouldn't matter. And maybe in the beginning it didn't. Their grand villas are nice, but the 1 and 2 bedrooms, they feel like, even though they have the little kitchen and stuff, they feel more like hotel room ish to
Where at?
me. At the boardwalk.
Oh, at the
At the boardwalk and the beach club. They just don't feel very like spacious. They don't feel very like homey in a sense. They feel just tighter to
I
me.
will also tell you that Yacht and Beach Club, best pool on property
sure.
is 100%
Without doubt.
best pool. I feel like that is way stuffier than the Grand Floridian. What Grand Floridian?
I know you say that
would ever be.
frequently.
I feel like that. I feel like yes, okay. I'm gonna tell you about my stocks.
I
bought
do think
today.
it's a little waspy. I guess is
I'm
the
like,
term.
you're in Disney World. The whole place was started by a mouse. It's not like, oh, yeah, here's this guy and Warren Buffett walks by. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Even he's simple.
Yeah.
You're like, these people come in there like, yes, I parked my yacht in the Hamptons for the weekend and I came down to Disney
It's
World.
those wristbands they have to get for the pool. The magic band, it makes them
You
feel
can have,
elitist.
my thing is, you can have money, but not act like, first of all, you're better than anybody else. And second of all, that there's some like uppity kindness to you. I don't know. I love everyone. Don't get this wrong. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody.
Yeah.
But I do have my feelings when I go in there. I'm like, I'm tattooed. I'm bald and sweaty most of the time. Okay? I'm tattooed all of the time.
I was gonna say, which of
but
those
I'm
things are you
sweaty
not all
most
the
of the time when I'm in Florida. So nobody wants to see me walking in. Everybody's in their nice clothes. Somebody's wearing a polo shirt. I'm wearing like a Who Farted t-shirt. And like, it's like whatever. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I just feel a little stuffy. But the board, like back to the boardwalk again. Boardwalk is the best place to stay for food and wine. Like I said before, it's a quick little stroll because it's the international gateway right there. You go into the countries, you can grab something to eat for dinner. You can grab a couple cocktails if you want when it's nice and cool outside. Because even in the start of like food and wine towards like the August, September, it's still scorching hot in Disney. So it's kind of hard to make that whole trip around.
I would think that there are people who maybe haven't stayed at these resorts and who wonder why they're so expensive. Okay. They say Deluxe Resort, what are you getting for it? I think in Disney World, especially, we are a little spoiled and jaded about these hotels and the proximity to the parks, right? Back when we were kids, the idea of staying at the Contemporary or the Polynesian seemed like a dream come true because you were like, oh my God, the monorail will take you right there. And you still were like where it was.
Do you remember like the Disney Village like places? Like it was called like the Disney Village, like the vacation
villas.
Vacation villas.
Yeah.
And that was like you had to go to like a hut. It wasn't Pizza Hut, but it was like something that looked like a pagoda.
Right,
That you
a
went
welcome
in and
center to check in.
Yeah, it was a welcome center to check
But
in. You
we're
drove
so
over to
jaded
them.
now because there's so many resorts that like have this immediate access to the park. So when you are at the boardwalk or beach club or yacht club even, but you are literally like steps away from Epcot. You were standing out there and you were watching the fireworks every single night just from the boardwalk or surrounding.
Or what was the trip that the Charlie Brown music was waking everybody
that was a
up?
Christmas trip with Danny. Like the whole
She's
the
like,
boardwalk
I keep
kept
hearing
playing.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yes.
every
But I'm
10
saying
minutes.
that is a huge thing that you are paying for is that proximity. Before the Skyliner ever existed, you were some of the only people that even knew the International Gateway entrance
That's
existed.
one of my things about the Skyliner. I was
Right.
like, oh, it
was
ruined
like,
the best
dang,
entrance
we
to
were
Epcot.
gatekeeping. We were gatekeeping. It felt like just amazing. Just being able to walk out of the park at the end of the night and just stroll right back to your resort is even better than being able to walk in.
I also feel like that gateway right there has changed so much, like where you got your tickets, because it was like, here's a little kiosk and then here's a wall, and then it's like, I'm glad they finally corrected the problem when you bought annual passes and all, especially through DVC. When you went, you didn't have to go up to them first to activate it. You just went right to the turnstile and activated the day you used it, because it was such a pain. I'm like, I'd walk up there,
It was like
get
the
up
idea
there.
with my Disney experience. Why am I having to keep reproving who
but
I
this
am?
is
It's
me.
all together.
This is me. I'd be like, go up to the turnstile. get up there, go through it. I'm like, they're like, and the blue flash like.
I love that the room.
You have to go to guest services. I'm like,
they must have heard our podcast about when you couldn't get into your room. I love that now you can scan your Magic Band for your room from your phone.
That does work. Except I did
it on the People Mover.
We did realize there was an inconsistent when you hop from room to room and stuff. I kept getting confused, so I still had to go to the front desk.
Right, which is fine. But what I was going to say is that's something you're really paying for as far as that really makes those resorts deluxe. I mentioned this today on a social media post where somebody was actually doing a poll of which do you prefer, Yacht and Beach or do you prefer the Boardwalk? And I liked seeing like in comments, not in my only in my commenting, I like to see. And I did seem like the majority of people said Boardwalk. The people that said Yacht and Beach, almost all of them because of the pool. Yeah. But one thing that drives me crazy.
It's okay if they're wrong.
One thing that drives me crazy about some of these deluxe resorts is them not having a dedicated coffee bar place. Not just in the quick service like Yacht and Beach. You have to go just in the quick service.
Well, there's a new one. It used to be the gift shop.
The Boardwalk has it.
Yeah, that's a good addition for them. I'm not a big coffee person, but I think that's a great addition.
And honestly, Gasparilla does a pretty decent job with what they have available at Grand Floridian.
I had a couple
Theirs
drinks
is fine.
there.
But when you go into like the Yacht and Beach, it's not the same thing. Like I feel like if this is a luxury resort, a deluxe resort, there should be like a specific, like the Contemporary has with Joffrey's right in the bottom level. You know, like I think that's something that should be at all the deluxe resorts because it's not like when you're walking through the park, there's not a coffee station every 5 feet. So why would you not? People wake up, the first thing they want is their coffee. Yes, they can make it in their room if they're in, a DVC room. But overall, they're going to spend money to go get a nice one
I'm glad you mentioned Joffrey's because all it makes me think of one thing, and somebody better be listening. I had a whole trash bag full of all of the toiletries and the coffee and everything in each of our rooms from our 3 days. Like literally like a
You paid for it?
No, it's like a Santa bag. I was like, you know what? This is costing a small fortune in DVC points.
Yeah.
So I had to start. I told Stephanie who was with us, I go, I'm going to need you to send this back to me because my bag was going to be overweight. Right. But I had like the pouches of Joffrey's coffees plus the Keurig ones. God knows what will happen to these and UPS will UPS them. But it's like, I'm like, because I don't even get them from me. I get them from my best friend, Kevin, who I love. So I always bring him back all the coffee and stuff. And he loves the little toiletries. Yeah. So I always get those for him. Disney, don't be mad at me that I don't go rob the maid card or anything.
You paid for it. If it comes in the room, it's something you paid for. It's an amenity.
Here.
It's an amenity.
Yeah. You took all the robes, right, too, and the television remotes? No?
Batteries.
Just me? No, I'm just kidding. So
dish towels.
So back to this. We'll move away from the boardwalk area and everything.
But top 3. Definitely top 3, no matter what the category.
I think for me. Luxury resort. Okay. I would say that the Grand is still up there for me. I do love the cabins at the Wilderness Lodge at Copper Creek. I think they're great, but I love the Wilderness Lodge Hotel itself. My only thing is, I wish it was on the monorail route because it being that close, and like they're not going to construct anything anytime soon or ever probably to do that. But I'm like, it's so close in there because I just love, I love the Roaring Fork. I love going in. I would love to just go there at Christmas, sit in that lobby by the big fireplace and just have a ball.
This is going to sound crazy to you, so get ready.
Howard Johnson's?
No. All of these resorts we're talking about are deluxe, okay? The Wilderness Lodge, the Boardwalk, the Grand. But when I hear you say luxury, the only one is Grand Floridian to me. And it doesn't mean those others aren't luxurious. But you were talking about different vibes, and you're like, oh, this is kind of a vibe.
They had to put in another pool because to get like a five-star thing, or you had to be, or 4 or 5 star, you had to have multiple pools.
We could have made that up. I mean, I heard it. I don't know. We've perpetuated that idea.
Fight me.
Don't fact check us. But anyway, not facts, people. Not facts. Just memories and ideas. But I feel like the Wilderness Lodge, I love. I'm enamored with it. I absolutely love it. But if you said to me, what's your luxury hotel? I wouldn't pick it. And it doesn't mean it's not luxurious. But when you look at the dining options there, they're very, other than the character dinner, they're very casual dining options. There's not anything that feels like luxurious, like the way
there's only 2 true luxury hotels that are on Disney property. It's Four Seasons and it's the Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, like they're true.
So I said, luxury. If you're just saying deluxe, okay, yes, a deluxe. I love the Wilderness Lodge. I will say,
you know what? No, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off because I do that.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll just have to get over it. So
I'm over it.
I will say that the Swan Reserve, Okay, just the way it's kind of like, but it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot to offer outside of just the hotel itself. I'm like, the amenities are kind of okay, but it's like the dining stuff in it, the look of it, the way the rooms are. It feels a little more upscale. And you have the Riviera too, but it's like Riviera could make that case, but it's backed up to Caribbean Beach. And I have nothing against Caribbean Beach at all, but I feel like for it to be that luxurious thing, you don't want to be looking down on like Barbados. You know?
I think that also the Island Tower would like to put itself in that category, but I don't think it offers enough individually, right? There's not enough of amenities specifically for that space. Like there's no quick service.
Was it Waialulu?
Waialulu.
Waialulu. I would like to go back there.
Me too.
Because I feel like, although we weren't blown away by some of the food, I feel like there was enough of it. Like I want to go. They said got rated one of the best burgers on property or something like that.
And for the fireworks viewing, that's just got to be.
I forget who told me. It was Courtney. Courtney was the one that told me that.
Tremendous.
Her name was Courtney.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
for me though, you can't beat the Grand Floridian vibe. And don't get me wrong. Over the years, sometimes it pulls in little places that I'm like, remember when they redecorated all the rooms and they were like this yellow and blue and they'd gone from the famously blush tones of everything. I had a fit. I was like a teenager and I was like, what is this crap? They've changed
it's
the
been a
colors
while
of the
since I've
rooms.
stayed in an actual regular room. I think it was a
Yeah.
D23 Destination D
We
event.
used to stay there.
That was
a
when the
lot.
Magic Band 2s came out.
We used to stay there a lot, and we've stayed in the hotel. We've stayed in the DVC. It is my favorite one bedroom anywhere in DVC because
That's the way it's decorated.
It feels like the way
cabinetry.
But it's the way it's laid out in the fact that you can walk in a complete circle because it gives you this little hallway that goes into the bathroom, that goes into another bathroom section, that goes into the master bedroom, into the family room, back into the kitchen, and has a little demi wall. It feels like a little apartment, and I love that about it. I love everything about the Grand. I love the smell of it. I love the vibe of it. I miss tea. I'm going to say that in every podcast where the words Grand Floridian come up, that if Disney does not bring back the freaking tea, and I've seen that they're putting these stained glass windows in that section, it kills me. It's never Cake Bake is never going to live up to that. I don't care how great their tea is because one, that's not all they do. Garden View, all they did was tea. Those people, their whole job was to serve the tea service. Whereas Cake Bake, it's a section that they only do at a certain time and a very small fraction, so they can't keep up the volume. Not that Garden View tea room was very large.
Welcome to the Grand Floridian. There's no tea in that. You're right. There's not a tea in it, but there needs to be.
Honestly, I wouldn't care. I know people love the Grand Floridian Cafe. I'm like, convert that to an entire tea room. I don't care. I wouldn't.
Oh, that's the other thing is going through the lobby, which was making me. I'm going in when we go in November. It's gonna be for a belated 50th birthday for my lovely wife Tiffany, and I'm like, I told her I'm sending pictures. I'm like, you know that this whole lobby looks. I get that they tried. I will tell them Disney tried. There was a lot of try in this, and I'll say try. It is like convention walls that are up in this whole thing.
What was the part that you think was trying?
No, I'm saying it's like they just tried to make it look like it's not construction walls that are like, just cheap, whatever. They're like, oh, we'll paint them this and put some stick. But it still just looks disjointed. The check-in is like in the middle of the lobby, but it was such a great place for pictures to sit with a piano player.
I would be devastated.
Let me just finish real quick. If you're planning on going to the Grand this year, if you have the ability to change it, the experience is not going to be what it normally is for you. Even if you're staying in the DVC building and all, you still have to go to the lobby, and the lobby's a great place. Enchanted Rose is still untouched and everything else. But for me, I'm like that lobby experience where you take pictures when you come in there, you sit there, it's just grandiose. You're not getting the full. If you're going to pay the full price for Grand
That's
Floridian,
what I was going to ask. Do you think these people are getting any discount who are paying cash based on the massive amount of construction? Yeah. It really is disappointing because the lobby is my favorite lobby in all of Disney property. It's one of my favorite lobbies probably in any hotel. Yeah. I love the vibe. I love when the piano player's playing. I am excited about the new bar. I know that's a kind of like controversial opinion.
Bar,
I know people are worried about how that's going to impact, but that just shows you. What hotel do you know where people are that in love with a hotel lobby that they're actually worried about a bar going, that's going to ruin the lobby? It's like, that just tells you
I have a feeling it's going to give Bon Voyage bar vibes from like the Disney Fantasy. Yeah. So you come in that lobby area and you have like this thing. It's just, you've got, that's to me, it's a little bit regal. Like when you go into somewhere, it's like, here's our, and you can go to Enchanted Rose, have a lounge area. It's like off of something because that's more tucked away. This is like, I want to be in the thick of stuff. Meet me in the lobby as people come and go. You could see somebody coming in and it's obviously you have the ability to grab and go, so you can go sit down at a chair somewhere.
There's a lot of offerings there. People don't realize that
I like the
hotel
idea of it.
without the T. The T is the one big thing that
Can't spell Grant Floridian.
but they are missing it majorly to not have that T, because look at what they have there. They have a 5-diamond restaurant in Victoria and Alberts. They have
it's a
Citrico's,
Michelin star.
Citrico's, which is phenomenal. They have Enchanted Rose, which is an absolutely stellar lounge. I think they have great drinks, great ambiance.
I'm glad they brought it up with Narcoossee's because it was suffering for a while.
Is
It was
fantastic
suffering
now.
for a
Was
while.
struggling for a bit, but Narcoosse's is fantastic. People really do enjoy the Grand Floridian Cafe. Plus, you have 1900 Park Fair. And then they have Gasparilla Quicksters. There's so much at the Grand. The fact that they don't realize that.
So it's safe to say that your favorite place to stay is Grand Floridian.
I absolutely love it. A 10 out of 10. With the T, actually, it would be. So it's N and a N.
I think, like I said, if even
Another
outside
bed.
the chill vibe, like I feel like my top choices are Grand, the Poly, and Old Key West in places that I love to stay.
Yeah.
Even though it's around the same place, like with
And mine are Grand, Poly, and Boardwalk.
yeah, what is it? The Springs, Saratoga Springs. Okay, that one to me again, it's like if you don't have a car, stop.
But we used to stay there a lot. Like when
And
they
it's a
first
great
opened
place.
that. Yeah.
I love when I went to it when it was the Disney Institute.
Yeah.
And before then, back when it was
Vacation villas.
vacation villas and everything
Right.
else too that they had over there.
Yeah.
But that one's again one you have to have a car with because you go through stop and they have actually some decent restaurant stuff and things up there. But again, like the Grand Floridian, you can't beat the amenities.
Yeah.
It is nice. It's upscale, but doesn't feel stuffy. You don't feel judged by anybody else.
I feel like I've always had really
you
nice
can be
interactions.
casual in a lot of the restaurants without being like feeling like, oh, I'm underdressed or something.
Yeah.
Again, you're going to theme parks.
Yeah.
People are visiting Disney World. Disney World.
But
it's
what's
hot.
nice is if you want to dress up, like if you want to get dressed up for Citrico's or you want to get dressed up for the Enchanted Rose, it doesn't feel like out of place. I also
We used to love getting dressed up and going to California Grill at Contemporary.
Yeah. I was at the Grand Floridian for one of the 2 hurricanes I've been at Disney for. And it was nerve-wracking because this was my first
Dropped
time
that
being
right
there,
in there, didn't you?
being there for a hurricane, which is a whole nother episode, Hurricanes at Disney World. But Mozzie was little. And they were like, we're going to have a character dance party in the lobby. So come down during this time. And literally brought him down in his pajamas. There was other kids in their pajamas. So here you're in the Grand Floridian, this luxury lobby, and all these little kids in their pajamas. It
That's
was
wonderful.
Winnie the Pooh, I think, and Tigger. And then it was like Pluto and Goofy maybe. And
Was Stitch there?
No.
Oh, it's
No,
not
I
a
said it
party
was
then.
luxury.
It's
okay?
not a
It was
party until
luxury.
Stitch shows up.
But we were all dancing. He had his little teddy bear with him, your boo boo teddy, and we were just having the best time. And then even there, talk about one of my first random encounters of a character. We know that, I have the video of Chip pulling Mozzie's suitcase, and that was like a random character encounter in the lobby. But leading into the day, like they were shutting the parks down, I think early that day, we were just strolling through the Grand Floridian lobby, and Mozzie was over by, they have like a giant Connect 4 set out. And again, he was little, like just barely walking age. And he was not even at the age that he could understand why this was such a big deal. And Alice and the Mad Hatter just showed up, and Mozzie was the only kid around, and they're just playing Connect 4 with him. They're completely in character, talking to him. They're like, oh no, and like
Gina,
laughing
those
around.
people didn't work for Disney.
Stop it. And
I'm
loved
pretty
it.
sure
And
I
then you
saw
saw
them in the
other
news
kids
later.
that showed up were
I
like,
saw them on the news later. They got them. They got them, guys. They got them.
but these other kids came up and they were so excited by it. But like, these are magical moments. They have magical moments like this.
Nice.
that
I'm telling Mom.
She'll see it on the podcast.
This is vodka, everyone.
But anyway, I love that hotel so much. I just think that it is, and the type of hate you will never see me stand for on social media will be the following: hate for Figment, hate for the People Mover, hate for Living with the Land, hate for the Grand Floridian. And I've seen all of them, and I will never understand
What hate
it.
are you here for? Just Stitch.
That just-
Gina's on a Stitch hater.
I mean, again, I have nothing against him personally.
I grouped those-
It's an oversaturation
You know
of
what
a
I do?
character who doesn't deserve
I
it.
group Stitch haters in with the people that hate AI. How do you feel now? How do you feel now, Gina? Anyway, so, but yeah, okay, so kind of bringing this discussion as a whole to like more of a close.
Oh no, I have so much more to say.
And you can say it. We've got all the time in the world ahead of us.
I hope you have a 3-hour commute to work, people.
So most people are like, man, work from home.
Right.
So
But I just want to throw in there the Poly because I do love the Poly. And even after staying at the penthouse and the bungalow.
And shout out to Kona Cafe because I'll tell you right now, if you're like in a pinch, like decent
I love
sushi.
Kona Cafe.
The sushi's
So
good. I
good.
like their like teriyaki style wings. I like those a lot.
Underrated.
And it's
highly
usually,
underrated.
you know what? It's later at night. They stay open decently. That maybe 10 max, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think's the last reservation in there. But it's like if you're like, there's limited amount of things at Disney World. That's the one thing I will say about Disney. Short of you have to really Uber Eats something, Grubhub, whatever you got to do, DoorDash, whatever, pick your poison.
We've done it.
You have to do that. And it's like when you order $85 McDonald's
and they forget your burger.
And they forget Gina's Big Mac. I was like, well, here's your fries. I'll be eating all these things and regretting it later as I toss and turn. But there's really not a lot of late night options. And I feel like that's where the disconnect is from Disney, from the Disney cruise. Like Disney cruise, you got 24-hour room service. It's included. You know, so that's even more. It's like, okay, I can do this at all and do whatever else. But for this, I feel like they need to add some late night options to Disney. And it doesn't have to be real late. Just say midnight.
Disney should
cut
just
it off
open their own late night place, like a fast food place, and have their own
cut
Uber.
it off. But they feel like now it's like, oh, we've got these other outside vendors that'll come in and do this for you.
They can call it Goober. It sounds goofy. Like Goober Eats. Not my best work. All right. Anyway,
I quit.
But what I wanted to say real quick about the
I'm outta
Poly.
here.
What's wild about the Poly also is, as old as that resort is,
God, I just want to set the mood.
when you look at lobbies, right? The Polynesian is a very quaint lobby. It's not like gigantic or massive the way Contemporary's lobby is huge. Grand Floridian lobby, Wilderness Lodge, like you talked about. It's a very quaint little lobby, and I think that's a part of the charm of the Polynesian. It does create that vibe, and Island Tower obviously is different now, but of that very, like, you feel like you're in an island. I say over and over again, it feels like two vacations in one. Now, I was trying to notice this when we were there just now. Have they replaced...
We were there just now?
Have they replaced all the tiki torches with like electric, or there's still like
no.
actual fire? Because when we walked by the one pier, it was all electric lights, and I was like,
no, well, the ones where you smell gas all the time when you're walking.
"Oh,
through the
you're right, we did. That was one thing.
Yeah,
It
it's
did
pretty...
smell like gas when we were walking.
I love the.
But I love walking through that. I will say I miss the luau. I know it was sacrificed for for the Island Tower to go up, because that was such a cool part of the history of the Polynesian. But it's a quaint lobby, and I feel like it's very approachable.
I feel like there's a way they could still do something more.
It's very approachable.
It's
like
one thing to have Ohana and everything, but I gotta go do that again with more people that could eat more. Because if you go there, be prepared to eat if you're going to go to Ohana, because you're going to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
And it's not.
I love the noodles. The noodles, the bread pudding, and the bread.
It's not a cheap thing. And then don't be afraid to be like, bring me some more of that.
Yeah. No, they're good about that. They are.
And then you line your pockets with little plastic bags.
But I was going to say, you have stayed at. I think it's important for the listeners to know that you have stayed at every Disney resort. I cannot say that. There's tons I've never stayed at, because I am a creature of habit, and when I like something, I will just keep going back to the same thing I like, which is why many restaurants I will say, nope, I just keep getting that same thing. Chicken Madeira, Cheesecake Factory. Anyway, but I will say, as far as, because I feel like all my favorite resorts are deluxe resorts, so it's like, oh, of course, Gina, your favorite ones are the most expensive ones. But for me, if I was going to pick a place that wasn't in the deluxe category, I really do like Port Orleans Riverside. I think that's a great resort. Where does that fall?
They did their little royal rooms.
Yeah, is that moderate? Is that considered moderate?
I guess
don't think it's value, right? It's moderate.
It's not value.
Yeah. But I think that's a great place. I think the location, taking the little boat down the Sassagoula over down to Disney Springs, I think that's a really, it's got a really nice little vibe. I think the theming, we all know I'm the theming police. I think the theming is nice there. I remember back when it was Port Orleans and Dixie Landings, and now it's all Port Orleans and it's Riverside and French Quarter. Yeah. But I like it there. I think that's a nice, as far as where I've stayed, because I had to pay cash to stay there. And generally I book everything through points, and there was nothing available. And
that's why we titled this particular episode of the podcast Resorts We Like. Let's just go through the list of ones we like. Our favorites.
I was just
you stayed there once.
I was trying to be fair, because I said if I'm saying a place I like and they're only bougie resorts, people are going to think like, well, you're disconnected from reality. Do you have anywhere you like?
We lost both of our followers because of that statement. Both of them. Rob and Teresa are out of here. They're like, that's it. We're gone. Gina likes this. I came in for your favorites.
Sorry
Just
for me
kidding.
for trying to show a little bit of
I
variety.
love. By the way, I love shouting them out because
They are
they're just
great supporters.
wonderful.
They're really
I like
awesome.
seeing their
They have great
content that
content
they do.
too. Please check
I just
them
like
out.
meeting people. That's the thing with me. People look at me and they're like, "That guy looks like a jerk," and I'm like, "Listen, maybe." But I love meeting people. I really
Yeah,
do, and
I do.
especially really good people.
I do.
But yeah, okay. So we went through with the boardwalk, the Poly, the Grand Floridian, Old Key West. That's pretty much where that lies in this and then we'll add like Wilderness Lodge into it with Copper Creek.
Yeah.
Even the rooms at Copper Creek aren't bad. I would just say if I had my druthers and I could go and stay in something that was expensive, if it was like a premier expensive room, there'd be 2 choices in there for actually 3. I'm sorry. There'd be 3 choices. I think the 3-bedroom at Wilderness Lodge, the 3-bedroom at Grand Floridian, and then the cabin. The cabin, I just feel like it's a chill vibe in that cabin.
I love it. It's literally, I know Wilderness Lodge didn't fall on my top 3 hotels, but if I had to take one out, I hate to say it, I would take out the Poly and put in that cabin. And yes, the Grand Villa as well, because that is a very
Can we
cool,
both agree that the cabin blows the bungalow
away? I'm
It's-
sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Only exception being the only thing I think that the bungalow has over the cabin
little more
is that
sleeping area.
all the bungalows are going to have fireworks viewing. They're all going to be able to see the fireworks. The cabins, you cannot say you can see fireworks.
I
from
do
every
like
single
the
one.
fact that they have the pull-down bed in the main area, and then they also have like a flip-down bed. So
Yeah.
it's really more comfortable sleeping
Yeah.
for more people than really the...
But space as far as feeling like you're like, I feel at home here, and then having the outdoor, because perfect example for our bungalow, it poured rain, and so when we got back to our bungalow, we couldn't sit on anything that was outside because it was all soaking wet, and even the next morning it was still soaking wet. It's fine, first world problems obviously, but when you
And then
have
my
the
bed was
cabin,
3 inches off the floor.
when you have the cabin, you have a screened in porch, so we were in that hot tub every single night. Even my 8-year-old son was just like, this
And then
is
you
the
have that
life.
wading pool. Ours, because it was handy capable, had 75 rails to it to
That's
go down the steps. And I'm
That
like,
is true. I also felt a little nervous at times, like if Mozzie was there, like even though there's all the railings, I don't know, like if I felt as comfortable being like in
Stephanie
the water
got a gorgeous
like that.
video, like the sunset or
stunning.
sunrise.
The sunsets and sunrises, if you get up that early,
Forget
I
about.
don't-
But the other thing
I'm
is the
usually
ferry
going to bed
boats really love to wake you up with really loud horns. It's one thing about the little the little boats that go back and forth to Magic Kingdom,
Yeah.
like from like Wilderness Lodge.
Mhm,
So
the
if you're
little tenders.
if you're on the left side of the Cascade Cabins, you're gonna have those resort launches basically
they can
that go
honk.
past. They'll honk. But they're not as intrusive as the ferry boats that go from Transportation Ticket Center to Magic Kingdom. And like, I remember the first one, I'm like, what is that? And of course, because I almost fell out of my bed that was 4 inches off the ground, whatever
I mean,
it was.
I didn't notice it because my room was the one that was like on the front of the bungalow. But I had heard
But you got a
someone
nice
say-
drip, drip, drip sound
I
all
did.
night.
There was a terrible dripping sound coming from the closet. Nothing was leaking.
It was the last family that was
just
murdered
Some
there.
kind. It was more like a gurgling sound.
It was the
I was
grudge.
like-
Gina had the grudge.
So I would say though, if for those who are asking, I personally feel like the cabin is way better.
Yeah, if you have a choice
than the
between the two
bungalow.
guys, if anybody is rolling like that, like I said, when our DVC thing, we really did pull some points to be able to do certain stuff. But if you're
Isn't
rolling
the
like that,
cabin
if you
less points per night?
yeah, oh yeah,
It's
like
less than the bungalow.
oh, it is less than the
Which
bungalow,
is
but it's like in
crazy.
September.
It's
I want to
bigger.
say the cabin usually in let's call like September area because it's considered a little off season. September to October.
September
somewhere,
is the
about
off-season
nine.
now.
I want to say it's 90 points a night for a cabin. Somewhere in there.
It's crazy.
And it's still a lot. Don't get me wrong.
No, that's
'cause
still a
some
ton,
people
but
have
I'm just saying-
150, 125
But I'm
points for the whole
saying
allotment.
it's so much bigger than the bungalow, and your outside space is so much bigger. Yes, it's not in the sun, so if
Oh,
you're
it's like
looking
you have
for
your
that,
little house, and it's they're awesome.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I want to make sure I mention that is a like love to stay place for me. The cabin, mom's favorite, I think, other than the Grand Floridian.
No, and they also have like little barbecues out there you can barbecue on and everything out
It's
there. We
so
haven't done it yet,
chill.
but I've always
It's-
threatened because it's a really nice
And I
barbecue
like taking
set.
the little boat tenders like when you're there. It's not like something I want to do like every trip, but I do think those are fun as long as you have the ones that are like the real boat tenders, not the like little tiny ones where it's like this sucks. They're gonna have to take like 6 trips to get these 10 people off the dock.
Sidebar, can I tell you something?
Please do.
You know how happy I am to do this podcast with you? I really am. See if we can make her cry, everybody. No, Here come the vapors.
Did you get a recent diagnosis or something?
I'm just saying, if I'm going to stroke out on this podcast and die, I'm just very happy to be able to do this podcast with you.
Me too.
And
I
it's
love
probably
you.
the highlight of my week. Don't
love
tell
you.
my wife or daughter.
I love you, stupid.
You're stupid. You're dumb.
You.
You're
I
dumb.
love doing this with you too. It's what I feel
Yeah.
like we were meant to do, no matter what anyone else says.
No matter how much everyone hates us.
I know.
No, but I will say this. This is now what, our 16th episode? Something like 16th or 17th?
16. Episode 16 plus we have now
Bonus
we've recorded
content.
4 bonus content episodes.
Yeah, so we're this many episodes. Like, it just seems it's still fun.
It's so fun.
It's just still fun.
And
I love
honestly, in
that.
case you guys can't tell, we don't prep.
There's no edits anywhere in this.
No edits,
we
no
clip
prep.
stuff to send on social media, but if you're watching this, you're watching an unedited.
One take Sally's.
It is. We're like, go.
Yeah.
And let's just say this was 2 takes this time because I horribly messed up the opening.
The first 5 seconds.
I
Josh
forgot
was like,
my
I
name.
messed up. But also is it's like we basically the prep that we do is sometimes today it was, what are we talking about tonight? What's today's show going to be about?
I literally called Gina. I called Gina today. I go, so what are we doing?
Right. But the funny thing is what we wanted for this podcast from day one was we wanted it to be like Josh and Gina talking. And again, I say over and over, I can't wait until we have one of our family members on the podcast as well.
God.
And we are like, we
talk over each other enough.
We have been so blessed to be like approached by a couple different podcasts to want to do some collabs, and we are like getting it going, and we're very excited about that. It's just we're so newbies to like the podcast like game that figuring out the whole logistics, we're like, what is everyone else doing? How do we do this? Whose system are we using? So we just want to get it right. And
if you have any podcast tips, feel free to send them along. You know, we can see. We're always looking for different ideas.
But
and
it
all,
is
too.
fun because Josh and I are like, we knew this is why we were willing to take the chance on doing it, was because we said, I mean, it's just you and me talking. This is what we're going to be doing either way. So why don't we just stick a microphone and see if anybody likes it? And guys, at this point, we have 1,800 subscribers on YouTube, and we've only been doing this for a couple months, and we are like flabbergasted by it. Like, I can't even tell you. Josh and I feel like we're dreaming. That's why my last post was like the Tron light cycle. I was like, it's been a short amount of time, and yet somehow we're going.
I know, I'm
so
like, please
fast.
don't use the Tron light cycle as a barometer of our success.
But it's because it's been a short amount of time. It's been
we
a short
jumped the
amount of
shark. We did
No,
it.
I felt like it's in a short time we've gone very fast, and so I appreciate that, and thank you to all
Somebody
of
will
you
be
guys.
vindictive. They got 1,800 now. 50 people unfollow.
That's how freaking
my
life goes
goodness.
on socials. But
While I'm thinking of it,
Okay.
too, don't forget to, like and subscribe. Subscribe and hit the notification bell.
to get notificated,
Make sure, get notificated.
and shout out to our sponsor.
Wait, that's not time for that.
Oh,
yet.
sorry, I thought we were okay. So shout outs.
Oh, shout
See, guys, I told you we don't prep.
Shout it from the rooftops, everybody.
I
Shout
told
out.
you we don't prep anything. We
Yeah, we
16 episodes. We still don't know the order of this.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know crap. We don't know crap. So Gina, who we shouting out? Look, confetti. Gina got the golden buzzer. All right, golden buzzer time. Gina,
Okay.
anything to say with your golden buzzer?
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Simon.
Oh, so unexpected.
Thank you, Simon.
Why do I feel like this is a drunk episode? Like we didn't drink anything.
Stone cold sober? I haven't
Heat
drank.
stroke.
I haven't drank since Disney.
I might rename the episode Heat Stroke Edition.
I have not had a drop of alcohol since Disney.
Josh smells burnt hair.
Yeah.
The episode.
So shout outs, and I actually mentioned to these cast members when we encountered them on this trip that I said, if you check out our podcast, episode 16, I'm going to give you guys shout outs. So the first one being our server at Primetime Cafe, which was cousin Claudia, a delightful, sweet little
she
lady.
such an awesome person?
She was adorable. She
Jersey
was fun.
girl.
She was just a delight. She gave us like the right amount of Disney. She gave us the right amount of genuine, and we just enjoyed her so much. And so we want to give a shout out to cousin Claudia. If you head over to Primetime, ask if she's available. And
You know
maybe
how
they'll
mad I
feature with
was
her.
that I did not have one of my coins.
I
But
know.
for cast members.
He was so upset.
I was mad because
so
we were
sweet.
walking into the park. I go, why do I feel like this is the day? Because I don't always give them out. I'll be honest with
Yeah,
you guys.
no.
I'm like, I don't give them out to anybody. I just said they're doing their job. But people that make my experience so much better, she was a breath of fresh air.
She was so
so sweet. She engaged with us.
Yeah.
And she had us just smiling ear to ear. And that's
Loved
what
her.
the Disney experience is about. So when we
Yeah.
said bring back the magic, that's the one you should always have.
Yeah.
They're literally actors in a live production. That's
Yep.
why they're cast members. And they just, when somebody takes that, just upon themselves to make it even more joyful for you. Oh my goodness.
Working hard.
I'm going to find you, Claudia.
Claudia, and I actually have coin regret myself because when you first gave us those, it was September, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember having such a high standard of who I was going to give them out to. I was like, no, someone who does something extra magic.
Yeah, and you're a little weird. I'm like, that guy just said, hey, dude, nice hat.
We dined at Garden Grill, and our server was so great. And Caitlin said to me, are you going to give him a coin? I was like, no, he's just really good at his job. And I have not forgotten it since, and I will go back when I'm there next time. I don't remember.
Seems like you forgot to me.
No, I know him if I saw him, though. And he was so delightful, and I want to give him a coin. So I've had coin regret of not giving to him. Second shout out is who we're referring to as Doormat.
Shout out!
Is Doormat. And what we mean by that is Matt, who was at the door
at the Island Tower. He goes, Matt, I go, you're Doormat.
Yes, he
like the dormouse.
Was fabulous. If you go into the Island Tower at any point,
he got
you
a coin.
See Matt.
He got a coin.
He got a coin
because my suitcase was there.
He was so sweet. He was giving us all the history. He's like, if you're interested, I can give you some facts.
He's a supervisor.
And he was telling us all about little details in the hotel and the things that they made things out of. And this is from recycled trash. And this is from nets.
He said the nets or whatever were from like recycled like bottles or something like that they had.
It was so cool, but
they were in the
Waialulu. Obviously, if you're talking to us, we're not.
And they
serious.
Didn't dye them. They were like actually that color.
Right.
It was like recycled.
We are not serious about anything. So him talking to us and trying to give us these facts, he was also very fun and shockingly not disturbed by the fact that we were making jokes about everything that's going out of his mouth in a very fun and lighthearted way. At least we feel so. He was fantastic. He loved the coin. It meant a lot to him. He was very, very sweet and, appreciated it very much. So Cousin Claudia and Doormat, appreciate you guys. Thank you. I also want to give one more quick shout out, and that is to another social media crew that we love, which is Mark and Stacy. We wear matching shirts because they made their move to Florida to live near Disney, and we are jealous. We have it in our mindset of
I'm so peanut butter and jealous of you.
Yes, but so happy for them. So exciting that they've made this trek. And sorry, I thought it was going to be confetti again. I was like, all ready. So we want to give them a shout out. Congratulations to you guys on making such a huge move. And we hope you're as happy there as you intend to be. We know you will be. And we can't wait to,
Can't wait to come visit. Thanks for the place to stay.
Guys.
How far from Disney are you?
Thanks. So,
I will bring plenty of Disney toiletries to give you in exchange for somewhere to stay. I'm just teasing. I have to give this to my best friend.
And honestly, if you guys follow us on social media, which is at BBT Magic Podcast on TikTok, on Instagram, you will see that I really do strive to comment back to every single person who writes us anything. I don't just like it. I like to comment back, acknowledge people. If you follow our stories where I do my mini daily podcast of Sprinkled Thoughts, you'll also see the accounts that we really do love to, send out to everyone and let you know who to follow, the people that we are supporting. We really support everyone, but there are people that we really like to give that extra push to because they've been nothing but supportive of us. And the little guys, it's my favorite to put that out there for them because I know how hard it is to gain that traction and following. Yeah. And so I love, if I say to you on my stories, like, they're only 3 away from 300.
Gina's killing it on social media. She is the social media queen.
I'm just so in love with this community.
I can't do what she can do. It's like she is just awesome at it.
I can't do this.
And don't forget about YouTube.
We are on YouTube and Spotify, so please follow us on both. Subscribe, like, and comment. We'd love to hear it. So many of you. Thank you to those who comment on our episodes. We really do appreciate it. I comment back to you guys. It means a lot. Thank you. Love you guys.
Yes, we do love you guys. We do love you guys a lot. And shout out to our sponsor, Theme Park Chuckle. We'll try to be more professional about this one. Here's a Cheers Walt shirt available from themeparkchuckle.com, where Walt is toasting you at World Showcase. Why don't you grab one of these? It's a limited time only, folks. I hear this will be taken down imminently.
Well,
apparently.
I'm actually wearing a Theme Park Chuckle shirt that was a limited edition and is no longer available. It was an
Good.
Arial.
Everybody can see the top letter.
I know. You can see everything. I look so tan.
You look like you're sitting in a wheelchair right now.
I feel like I'm sitting in a hole or a wheelchair. I feel like Jabba the Hutt.
Nobody told you to scrunch it.
I don't know how Jabba the Hutt talks, but it feels like that feels like right. It tracks. That definitely feels right. That's what I'll be for Halloween this year.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for joining us again. It's been a great episode. Please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.